What's going on, everyone? I am back with another video because I have finally changed some things around in this room and I want to show it off. So first of all, if we pan over here, I took down the Mattel Retro Hasbro style figures and put the 8x10 photos back up there. And I'll show you why in a moment. But let's take a look here. I ended up bringing the shelf out a little more longer. So I now have 4 small shelves on the bottom row. And I have 2 tall ones for the top. So that gives me enough room to have enough magazines on each shelf. Now, I was very particular in what I did. As you can see here, this is all about WrestleMania 1. And then this here is a beauty. I got this off eBay a few months ago. I never showed it because I wanted to wait for this moment. This is the souvenir newsstand edition of the program for WrestleMania 2. I knew I had to have that because I have the, all the WrestleMania 2 magazines here, but what happened, except for one, and that would be the WWF magazine itself, I missed out on that. There was a bidding one for it along with a few other Hogan magazines, and I lost out. So mainly it's because I forgot to place the bid. But I did the WrestleMania 2, so if when I get that one, I will add it to it. WrestleMania 3, of course, the preview of what's going to happen. That's when they fought in Saturday night's main event in the Battle Royal. Hulk versus Andre, how the experts see the match. So that is setting up for WrestleMania 3, and then we get the results. Inside Wrestling talked about it. The WWF magazine, even a month later, had Hogan and Andre as the big story still, as did PWI with Giant Killer. Hogan topples Andre at WrestleMania 3. How weird, right? We look at WrestleMania 1, where there was no program magazine cover of it for PWI. I believe it was Inside Wrestling gave us that, WrestleMania, why it succeeded, why it failed. That's it for a cover of it, really. And then WrestleMania 3, totally different story. Program here with Steamboat winning the Intercontinental belt from WrestleMania. Steamboat and Savage, even WrestleMania 3 can't stop this feud. The match that made WrestleMania 3 great. And we got Supercards 87, which talks about WrestleMania 3, among the other cards at the time. WrestleMania 4. Again, I got this program pretty cheap. It was really cheap, actually. I got it for, I think it was $29.99. Now, I know that might seem like a lot, but for a program, definitely cheap, because they usually run $50 to $100, depending which one it is, if not more. There's the results. WrestleMania 4 World Title Tournament from Sports Review Wrestling, and Supercards 88 from PWI. Over here, we get the Macho Man with the belt on the cover from July. We get Macho Madness, The Torch is Passed for PWI. What Randy Savage Must Do to Escape the Shadow of Hogan for Inside Wrestling. And the WrestleMania 4 results plus others on Inside Wrestling. So, pretty solid right there. WrestleMania 5. Again, I've had this program for a while, and this is the main reason what made me want to collect the other programs. Now, I almost had WrestleMania 6, but the person that had it on eBay realized that they didn't have it anymore. Like, they still had the listing up. I bought it, and they're like, I'm so sorry, I don't have this anymore. They reimbursed me the money, so I was like, well, whatever. WrestleMania 1 program was on there too, but it was like $300, and I was just like, I can't do that yet. I think I would have done that if I had all the programs. My goal was to get WrestleMania 1 through 7, I think I was going to do. That was kind of like the idea. But, I got 2, 4, and 5 is good enough right now. So we got, has Savage signed to wrestle Hogan at WrestleMania 5. Hogan versus Savage, how it happened, WrestleMania 5 preview. And on top of that, we got Wrestling 89 Mega Powers. They can put the pieces together again. Years later, they did. And then, of course, we got the results here. WWF Magazine, Sports Review, The Wrestler, and Pro Wrestling Illustrated. that's that one, right? Now up here, again, I did Starrcade. Because Sports Review Wrestling each year, starting in 84, did a great, well, of course it started in 84 because the first Starrcade was in 83, so it had to, but they did a great picture collage and information and write-up on the Starrcade. So you got 83, 84, and 85. You got 86, 87, which also has a Survivor Series talk, 88, which is True Grit, and then 89. Now, they did do 90, but 90 had a small, like it would have been like this. This is the picture they used for Starrcade 90, and the big shot was about Bret Hitman Hart, about coming into his own as a single star or something like that, perhaps. I think it was. It was really weird. It was like, why not have the Starrcade as the main highlight? But maybe because Bret probably sold magazines, I'm guessing. Then I got this one here, Inside Wrestling, the new NWA champ, Ric Flair. So that's there. Of course, I have this. This is one of the greatest. I love this magazine because I love this match. Yes, I have seen this match. There was a live feed of that show on Extreme Wrestling Classic Torrents website. Maybe, let me think, 15 years ago, I want to say. And this is when I was collecting all the super shows. I was downloading them, burning them to DVD. And I heard about the night in Greensboro where they had the cage, and I heard about it because I remember I was looking at a website on cage matches, and they were talking about the Tommy Rich Buzz Sawyer cage from Georgia. Someone brought up, man, a great tag match for a cage was the Mid-Atlantic one with Steamboat and Youngblood against Cornotto and Slaughter. So I was like, well, what is that? And I looked it up. And I loved it. And when I saw that they had it on the cover, I knew I had to have this bagged and cardboarded. There's the one for Sawyer and Rich. And of course, this is a Pro Wrestling USA a magazine about the joint wrestling promotion where AWA and NWA were together. Now, here we got the first issue of Wrestling Spotlight with Savage, the second with Hogan, and the third with Brutus. Those are all intact with posters. The posters aren't like attached to the magazine anymore, but the posters are in the magazine, which is a huge selling point for me. I do like I know Pro Wrestling Mag's YouTube channel, Bill, he says it too. He's like, you got to have the poster. I agree. Though if I don't have the poster, I will settle for the magazine up to when I do, right? Like I need to have the magazine in my collection, even if it doesn't have the poster. The poster is a mandatory addition to it. If I can upgrade my magazine, I always will. I always will. We got a program with the Hart Foundation, Strike Force, and Survivor Series. And of course, these are the first issues. Wrestling 83, Pro Wrestling Illustrated Annual. And that one is the Dusty Rhodes winning the NWA title, but loses it 1 week later on PWI Magazine. Here we got the first PWI magazine. It is the first. See, there's the barcode, and it's ripped there. This is legit. The first Victory Sports Wrestling, the first Wrestling USA, and we have, I think, a first something else here. Or am I missing something? Maybe it's just those three. Okay, just those three up there. Down here, let's get a look at this. I got Flair on the cover with the NWA title, which I always thought that belt looked cool. I do love the big gold belt. I grew up on the big gold belt. The first time I ever saw Ric Flair, he had the giant NWA, soon to be WCW, soon to be big gold belt, soon to be WWE world title. That was the belt I was familiar with. And it's right here on the cover of this magazine. This is my Barry Windham with a championship title on the cover magazine collection. So we got Barry with the US, Barry with the tags, with Lex, the world tags from NWA, with the Western States Heritage title. And that would be the Florida tag team titles with Mike Rotundo, which I remember I used to see that magazine years ago in for back issues. And I always thought those were the WWF tag titles because it was black and white photo and you couldn't see the color. I didn't realize these were gold and red and blue. I always thought they were the silver ones that they had in 1985 when they wrestled Sheik and Volkov at WrestleMania. So it wasn't until I got this magazine I was like, oh shit, those are the Florida tag titles. Okay. And then, of course, this title here, many don't know this. This was supposed to be the UWF's version of the Intercontinental title. For some reason, I don't know why it was the NWA Western States Heritage title. Maybe it wasn't at first. Maybe it was just called the Western States Heritage title. But the initial plan was for Bill Watts to have like an Intercontinental title in his territory. And this, of course, was during the end when Bill Watts was dying. His wrestling company was dying. Mid-South was UWF. UWF was not doing well. The NWA pretty much came in and took them over, bought them out. And they were still called the UWF for that brief time, but they were having UWF shows with NWA talent on it. But this was around the same time Barry was an NWA wrestler, and he wins the Western States Heritage title. But the only reason why I know that is because I remember reading about it, that it was supposed to be Bill Watts' version of the Intercontinental Championship for the WWF. So Bill was really hoping that the UWF would be equal with the WWF, right? He wanted the Universal Wrestling Federation to be just as big and star-studded and exciting as the World Wrestling Federation. But unfortunately, Bill didn't know how to run a business too well. He knew how to book a storyline as such. The UWF had great storylines, but Bill Watts was not good on the financial side of things, I don't believe. This is my Flair and Steamboat collection. So we got everything that has Flair and Steamboat on the cover together. And these are like I think they're on the cover together in the smaller magazines too, but I just keep the larger magazines. I don't really keep these ones down here bagged and boarded because they're just way too small. I don't care. Here we got Bockwinkel regaining the AWA title. Hogan taking the belt from Bockwinkel, but of course they got return. Harley Race defeating Flair for the title, and Piper winning the Mid-Atlantic title from Briscoe. Down here, we got the Royal Rumble program with the WWF magazine that has the Royal Rumble results in it, and Sports Review with their review on the Royal Rumble. Program with the Bulldog and Big Boss Man. The reason why is because I have the program sheets for these. So they stay board and bagged. These are my original PWI magazines I had as a teenager. There's like 8 or 9 of them down there, so they just stay. Over here now, I did this. I put Diesel and Shawn in the... So I got this for my birthday, by the way. It was a gift from Zeke Zanzibar. He actually got me this same tag set in 2007 as a birthday gift. I stupidly opened it up then because I was opening up all my figures and having them loose. And I always wish I would have had it mock because it was such a cool gift. And I love these two. He found it again at a really good price and it's in really great shape. So here it is, Dudes with Attitudes, right next to the Dudes with Attitudes photo. And of course, this Sweet Diesel and Shawn photo there. I have some BCAs here of Shawn and Vader. And I put some more photos there. Of course, these magazines still pretty much the same all the way down. PWI on top, WWF all the way down from, right now I have from 86 until 2001, I believe is there. Over here, the movie area, the movie rental area, right? You walk into a variety store and you want to check out what wrestling tapes are in. Well, here they are. You can rent anyone you want tonight and take home and watch. The last time I showed this, I only had one set of brown shelves, the bottom, the rest were white. I went out, bought all brown. I think this looks 1,000 times better. I love the brown look. It really gives off that retro, going to a variety store, seeing the movies that you want to rent. This is it right here. Nothing new added for VHS. I haven't bought any new tapes. I mean, I could because I have like space down here. I could probably fit another one in. But I got the tape right there of the pile driver, so I just have that there. Over here now, this is new. This is my DVD section if you want to rent. Now, these are vinyl record holders, and they would hold one record each. So there's 6 of them, so I had 6 records on the wall. I took those down, replaced those with these shelves, So if you've seen my Instagram, I posted each month now, I'll post the albums that dropped in that month, and they're out on the living room wall on those shelves. It looks so cool. It looks like a record store. It looks awesome. I love it. My girlfriend loves it. She always wanted that. I was like, you know what, let's do it. So I built it for her. So it looks awesome. But yeah, so right here, the reason why for top row, I got Austin Aries. Austin Aries is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I know he gets a bad rep for his personality in the back. He's got that short man attitude, as a lot of people would say, because he is on the shorter side. But man, that guy is a fucking machine in the ring. He's like, seriously, like if I was to do a top 50 wrestlers of all time from like 1985 till now, Austin Aries would be on that list. I don't know where, but I know he'd be on the list. But I got the Generation Next DVD. That's when he formed that group with Alex Shelley, Roderick Strong, and Jack Evans. I have the Evolution of A-Double. So this is all about Austin Aries' first championship reign when he beat Samoa Joe at Final Battle 2004. This is the other era when he was a heel and he changed his whole persona and was a Ring of Honor champion for a second time. And his feud with Tyler Black and such is highlighted in that. Of course, is now Seth Rollins. And of course, this is TNA Destination X, is where Austin Aries won the TNA World title for the first time from Bobby Roode. Down here are very important events that I've had taken part of in one way or another. So I was at TNA Bound for Glory 2006 live. I was in like the 5th or 6th row. I marked out when Jeff Jarrett smashed Sting in the head with the guitar and Sting no-sold it and beat Jarrett for the NWA World title. It was awesome. I was at Supercard of Honor 2 in Detroit. That was the night before WrestleMania 23. I saw an awesome cage match with BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs. And it was just a really cool show. Then, of course, I was at WrestleMania 23, up in the cheap seats, way up high. Didn't matter. I was there. I can say I was at a WrestleMania at least once in my life. And this WrestleMania here was the first ever WrestleMania I got to see live at my own home on, like, you know, pay-per-view, or I guess technically it was the WWE Network. So every year, like all my years, like when I was young, I lived in a small village where we had a antenna TV, so there was no cable. And if you didn't have a satellite dish, you're not going to get the pay-per-views. So I'd always go over to someone else's house that had that. And I remember in 1996, me and two of my friends, Mike and Jer, who wrestles as Eric Young in TNA. So yes, I am friends with TNA superstar Eric Young. The three of us went in, bought a satellite dish, but it was DirecTV. And living in Canada, that was kind of like illegal or something. It was really weird. So we had to like call a number to buy the pay-per-views if we wanted to. So $30 pay-per-views would end up being $60 because of the change of currency and money. So I did see some pay-per-views live. The first pay-per-view live I ever saw was King of the Ring 96, but it was at Jeremy's basement because we put the satellite there because his basement was just the smartest thing to do. It was like the easiest place to get to and see stuff. So years later, if I wanted to see stuff, I would download it, torrents, right? Get it and watch it the next day. So this was the first event I saw live when it took place in my home. So that was kind of neat. Plus, Kevin Nash goes in the Hall of Fame at that one. And Seth wins the WWE title. Speaking of which, down here, Seth Rollins is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So I had the Shield. I got Seth's solo DVD and, of course, the other Shield one. And AJ Styles, you can't go wrong with him. I can't believe he actually came to the WWE when he did. I never thought he'd ever get there. When he did, it was awesome. It was, to, coin a phrase, phenomenal, right? So he got there. So yeah, that's a mandatory need in my collection and on display. And here is the tickets to TNA Bound for Glory and WrestleMania. And there I am in the ring as a ring announcer for a wrestling promotion called PWA, where I got to do that 2 weeks in a row. So yes, I've been in a real ring. I got to be a part of a real wrestling show, and that is pretty cool. I'm happy and content with that. Now, everything over here stays the same, except for I shortened the shelf here because I put the BCAs here of Brett and Owen and Diesel and Razor, and I put those up there. The reason why, of course, Shawn and Diesel together had to have that, but These are the WrestleMania 23 figures of Shawn Michaels, the event I was at. That's the outfit he wore, so I had to have those. And of course, the newer style magazines, including the newest one that just came out, folks, the year-end awards one for PWI, where Cody Rhodes won 4 awards. He won Inspirational Wrestler of the Year, Most Popular Wrestler of the Year, Match of the Year with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and Wrestler of the Year. So that's insane. Garfield stays the same. The Victoria Justice era stays the same. Now we get up here to the good stuff. There they are. I put all the Mattel Retro Hasbros in this section now. So they're easier to look at. They're kind of like condensed into one area. And I just think it looks better that way. I just like that. Now, of course, the big problem is, oh, by the way, Andre is still here. Let's Talk About Sex by Andre the Giant. What a great book that would have been if it was real. But problem is now the newest set is out to buy with Rip Thomas, with Zeus, Miss Elizabeth, Queen Sherry, and of course Brother Love in that ring. Those are 5 more mock figures I'm going to have to put on the wall. Now, what do? Do I put them underneath and go all the way over there? I don't know. I don't really like that. I kind of want to keep that all empty. I got more VJ photos up there. I don't really want to take those down because, well, she's hot and easy on the eyes to look at, right? So, I don't know. Do I mess around over here and change this up again? I don't know. Until that time comes, I'm not going to worry about it. But for right now, this is what I've done. And I'm very, very pleased with how well it looks. It looks clean to me. It looks slick. It looks like a nice little area. It looks like a place that a wrestling fan would want to go into and check out. And I don't have overly a lot of stuff. And that's not a snide remark on those who do. I personally don't have the room for a lot of stuff. So I choose what I want. I was talking to a friend online named Matt Watson. He has this amazing, amazing collection of wrestling figures. He's got like everything from LJNs, AWA, Hasbros, all the way to the Jacks, the BCAs, the Ruthless Aggression style, all the way to, I think maybe the only figures he's missing for wrestling might be the ECW and TNA ones. And now that I mentioned that, he might go looking for those. I don't know. But I told him, I said, because he's getting a little overwhelmed, and I said to him, sometimes it's quality over quantity. And I found that to be true for me, at least personally. I was overwhelmed at times when I was collecting wrestling figures because a lot of them were coming out, like these styles here. A lot of them are just hard to get now because they're Target exclusive, or they're online exclusive, or they're like, there's chases and there's just so many, and I couldn't do it. So I opted to sell the wrestling figures and invest in the magazines, which I thought was a smarter choice to do because I like magazines. That takes me back to being like, just a kid, a teenager sitting on my floor, eating potato chips, drinking a Pepsi, going through the magazines and looking at them. And just a lot of back then, I didn't get to see a lot of the shows. I missed out on some pay-per-views. I missed out on some events because I didn't have cable, like Clash of the Champions. I didn't see my first Clash of the Champions live until 1996. And I only got to see one more after that, I think, or 2 more. And then that was the end of the Clash. So everything I always saw was either through downloading or tape trading or such. So to read about it was what I needed, and that takes me back. And that's why I went with the magazines over figures. So yeah, that is it. You know what? While I'm here, let me go out and show you what I'm talking about with the records. So that is what I did. So this is the month of February that albums have been released. 311 came out in, I think it was 1993 or 94. I think it was 94. I think that one was, maybe. Or 90, man, I forget now. But yeah, I put them in order of when they first came out. So Radiohead was the next one. That was 93 because Green Day was 94. So 311 came out in 93. And I want to say Radiohead and Green Day were 94. Fun Loving Criminals and Offspring were 97, I believe. Same with Silverchair and Veruca Salt as well. So there they are. I think that's kind of neat that I've done that. So I like it. I like how it looks. Again, that looks slick. It looks cool. I just like that they're on display like that. So maybe, again, one day I will do an apartment tour and show you everything. But for now, this is all this is all I give to you. Just this, the room of, I used to call it the room of sadness, but I think it's the room of awesomeness, right? There's a lot of cool stuff in here, and I would be dumb to think not. And that's just the way it is. So, all right, guys. Again, if you want to see a wrestling magazine collection that is superb, that is like insanely crazy and huge, and just exciting to watch, you have to watch Pro Wrestling Mags. That's the YouTube channel. His name's Bill. He has an entire basement of magazines. Like, it's insane. I would love to visit him and just get lost for hours down there just looking at them. It'd be like a library. It would be so cool. Again, if you want to see wrestling figures like this right here, like these, check out Matt Watson's YouTube channel. He's got everything and then some. Very cool stuff. He does he does like reviews of figures and such. I try to watch a lot of his videos. He has so many, it's tough, and I hope he understands that. It's hard to, because I'm busy too and such. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it today. I got to have some time to myself. I want to show you guys what's going on here. All right, guys, until I do my next one, I'll talk to you later.